hidden gems. This guy right here is a bit of a hidden gem in FM23, and in today's video, I'm going to bring you 5 more of them. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you are new here. If you are new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Clayts and I make Football Manager videos. Today's Football Manager video is all about those hidden gem players, hidden gems. In Football Manager 2023 this time, those players that are more obscure, less well known, but when you sign them, you can impress all your mates, but also create superstars. You can send them into the world's eye. You can get ahead of the game. You know, it happens, right? These players that you know about because of your Football Manager saves, they go on to make an actual move in the real world, and you're like, I knew them. That does happen, right? That is relatable, what I'm talking about right now, right? Relatable. Before we do get into my list of 5 that I have chosen, a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel though. If you haven't done so already, it'd be really cool if you did subscribe to the channel. We are pushing towards my current aim, my current goal of 30,000. We're not that far away, and I promise you I'll make it worth your while if you do subscribe. There's going to be so many videos still coming up all about FM23. The launch has got me very excited, and I've been doing daily videos at the moment just to push out as much content as possible. So I do hope you're enjoying it. Let me know if you are in the comments down below. Also give the video a like if you do enjoy it as well, because it helps to push it out to that magical thing that we call the algorithm. A massive thank you once again to the lovely people at OneFootball for sponsoring today's video, as well as a few more videos going forward on the channel as well. How lucky we are. Thank you so much to the guys at OneFootball. OneFootball is a free to download football app that you can go and download by clicking the link that is in the description of today's video. It's the very first line of the description. Go and find it, click on it, download the app, and thank me later, because it's a fantastic football app where you've got access to basically anything that you could possibly want to do with football. You've got latest scores, you've got the live team news, you've got the tables, top goal scorers, you've got articles on there. There's even videos to go and watch all about the world of football as well. Honestly, anything you could possibly want from a football app is on there. And once again, to reiterate, you can download that for free by clicking that link that is in today's video description. Again, thank me later. Thank you so much to the guys at OneFootball for once again sponsoring. Big shout out to them. Hey, they're lovely, lovely people. Back to the video. So when I refer to hidden gems in today's video, I'm thinking of players that are maybe from more obscure leagues or more obscure nations that are not necessarily well known. What has actually happened is most of the players are from Croatia, which seem to be stacked in FM23. A lot of, I think 3 of these 5s are Croatian, which I'm not even going to apologize for. They look so good, and they're definitely hidden gems. Starting with this player here, who is Luca Ivanusic. Do that again. Just pretend that bit didn't happen just there. Starting with Luca Ivanusic, who plays for Dinamo Zagreb, and he's 23 years old. He can play in midfield in all of the different midfield spots, including shadow striker and mezzala as most natural. But have a look at his profile. At 23, he's got 16 dribbling, he's got 17 acceleration, 19 balance, a bit of a tricky midfielder, 16 determination. I think he looks pretty good, and you can pick him up for very cheap. Now, I've done a video all about 5 bargains. That's maybe in a card up there, which you could go and watch after this one. He could well have gone into that bargains video, but I think he's more of a hidden gem rather than a bargain. But you know what I mean, right? He plays for Dinamo Zagreb, meaning he is going to be pretty easy to pick up, I would suggest, for most people, depending on which team you're managing, obviously. He's wanted by Southampton and weirdly by Philadelphia, but Southampton wanting him shows me that he must be quite good. Southampton have got a pretty good eye for signing players who are good on FM as well, haven't they? If their summer transfer business is anything to go by. Number 1 on my list then, Luca Ivanusic. He's got caps for Croatia, so maybe less hidden in that regard, but I still think he's a hidden gem on FM23. Number 2 on my list then is probably the least hidden of my hidden gems and probably the most expensive on my list. He is a player who plays for Atalanta. That's why he's not necessarily hidden. He's Danish though, and he's a striker. He's Rasmus Haaland, I think is maybe how you say his name. His first name is Rasmus, which just makes me think in the shadows. That's probably a niche reference for a lot of you. Anyway, he is a striker. He's Danish. He's 6'3". He's called Haaland, which is very close to Haaland. And I think he could score a lot of goals, a bit like Erling Haaland. He is looking really good. He is maybe a little bit more expensive. His value at this stage for me is £17 million to £20 million, but you can see why. He is very meta in terms of his height, 6'3", left-footed, 15 finishing. He's like maybe like a B-Tech Haaland. Is that harsh on him? I'm not sure. I think though, because of his similarities, because of the way that his profile is made up with his attributes, but because of the fact he's 19, he could easily become a bit of a hidden gem. If you want to go and sign him, you've got yourself that budget Haaland into your team. That's why he's made my list as my second hidden gem. I'd love to know if any of you have signed him, how you've got on with him. Let me know in the comments down below, because I've just got a feeling that this guy would score goals in Football Manager. He has only just moved to Atalanta. That might make him a little bit more difficult to go and sign at this stage. However, it won't take long until you start to be able to talk to him. He's moved for £14 million. He's made my list at number 2. What do you reckon to him? Number 3 on my list ticks a lot of boxes in terms of being a hidden gem. He's an Ivorian midfielder who's playing in Denmark. His name is Mohammed Diamande. He also ticks a lot of boxes because I think this guy's not going to be too far away from making a pretty big move, probably to one of the European major leagues, if I had anything to do with it anyway, because I think he's sensational. He's 20 years old, and this is his profile in FM23. Mohammed Diamande, he's actually linked, which is a good measure of whether they're good or not, isn't it? He's linked with Arsenal in this save here. He's valued between 425k and 3.3 million. He's very well rounded as a midfielder. He's got great pace to play from this centre mid spot, is where I would play him anyway. Can play off the wing if you wanted him to. Look, he's left footed, so could play from the left wing. Could even play as a striker, actually. He's got a little bit of familiarity from there. He's on 7k a week. He's already been recommended by my scouts here. If you compare him, look, he's got a load of potential there, which is great to see. Mohammed Diamande, what do you think of him? I'd probably play him as a centre mid. As I say, he's got tries, killer balls often, plays 1-2s, 5'9". I think he looks great. I think he's definitely well and truly a hidden gem. He's not even made his debut for the Ivorian national team yet. So at the moment, he's hidden. I think he might well be unhidden. What's the word for unhidden? On view very soon. Mohammed Diamande, though, is my third choice. Let me know what you think of him. Right then, on to choice number 4. Pick number 4 for my hidden gems. And do you remember how I mentioned Croatia was the main place I've looked for these hidden gems? Well, my 4th choice is another Croatian. It's another striker on my list. It is Dion Balio. Now, I wonder how long it takes you to notice why I've chosen Balio as my 4th choice for a hidden gem. It's not because of his 15 finishing, although it could be. It's not because of his great off the ball and flair, 14 and 15. It's not because he's only 20 and he's going to grow from here. It's not even because he's very cheap, between 220k and 7.6 million pounds. No, it's because he's 6'5" and he's going to be brilliant in the air. And I think he's going to be so effective in the match engine. It's anything like FM23, which I think it is from playing. These tall strikers are still really good. He plays for Osijek in Croatia, meaning I think he's very gettable for a very cheap price. If you can bring him in for about, I think he'd probably cost about £3 million. In fact, let's ask the agent exactly what they say. I mean, they literally say between 80k and 7.8 million pounds. Imagine you managed to get him for 80k. That's a very, very cheap amount of money. A very small amount of money, I should say. And I think he'd be well worth it. At 20, I imagine there's a bit of growth to be going on here. I imagine you can develop him a little bit from here. He scored goals for his last team, which was in the Croatian First League. He got 15 and 34, so he does have a scoring record too. I think he's going to be a bit of a beast. He reminds me of Sesko in a lot of ways, just in terms of how his attributes look, with that 15 finishing. Dion Balio is my 4th hidden gem. Go and sign him. Let me know what you think of him. And that takes us into my final choice then of my hidden gems list. And once again, we are looking in Croatia. Once again, actually, we're looking at Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia because I've got another Croatian. It's Josip Sutarlo is my final pick as a hidden gem. Again, he's a more expensive one, actually. There were some cheap ones. Hopefully, I've given you a bit of a range of different hidden gems here. They are all Croatian, but they're at least different positions and different price points. Josip Sutarlo is higher up that price point. He's going to be between £13 million and £20 million. I think that's changed in this save, though. You might be able to get him cheaper earlier on in the save, so do have a look. He's a 22-year-old central defender with a little bit of everything, actually. He looks like he could be a very solid Premier League defender quite quickly. At 22 as well, he will get a little bit better in my save. At the moment, he's wanted by Villa, Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla. So one of these big teams are going to go and pick him up. He will go to the very top, I think, in FM this year. He's playing for Dinamo Zagreb. 22 years old. He's made his debut for Croatia. Look at some of these attributes, though. 16 jump and reach. The composure and anticipation, really good at the back. The tackling is excellent. He's not really lacking in any areas that you'd want for a centre-back, I don't think. He's not even particularly slow, despite being 6'3". He's got 13 acceleration and 13 pace. He's right-footed, continentally known, 6.5k per week as well. I think it makes him very buyable in FM23, and that makes him very worthwhile. I think he's a hidden gem, but I'm not sure for how long, especially if he makes these moves that he's been linked with in FM. He'll be hidden gem no more. And he's my 5th and final one. As always, though, the list of hidden gems doesn't end there, does it? You guys, I am sure, are brilliant at scouting as well. You will have found your own ones. Please do let me know who you've managed to find in the comments down below so that we can extend our list and find even more of these hidden gems. Maybe if there are enough, we could do a follow-up video to this later on down the line. That's something I want to do too, as well as maybe a free agents list. Also, video ideas. What do you want to see for Football Manager 2023, you know, for future content? Let me know in those comments. And then if you are subscribed to the channel, you'll be around the place to find out what we end up making, won't you? Thank you so much for watching today, though. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.